We'll be focusing today on placing fractions in ascending order. So here we have three random fractions. What we'll be doing is to converting these fractions into equivalent fractions of their own. So we look at the denominators, 20, 5, and 4. First, we find the LCM being 20. So we'll be converting 4 over 5 to an equivalent fraction where the denominator will now be 20. So if you look at the denominator being 5, we say 5 into 20 goes 4 times. So we'll be multiplying 4 over 5 times 4 over 4. Because once you multiply numerator and denominator by the same number, the fraction remains the same. It's just that you now have a multiple of that fraction. So 4 over 5 is the same thing as 16 over 20. 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 4 is 20. So it is just an equivalent where we multiply top and bottom by the same number. Now we have a quarter, the denominator being 4. Once you have that 4, we say 4 into that 20 equal to 5. So to convert this to an equivalent fraction where the denominator is now 20, we multiply top and bottom by 5 and we get 5 times 1 is 5 over 5 times 4 is 20. So a quarter, an equivalent fraction will be 5 over 20, the same thing. So what we'll do right now is just rewrite these fractions, and once they are rewritten, then we will realize that all denominators now are the same. And all we need to do is to simply do this. Look at the numerators, and that will determine which one is smallest up to the largest. Because remember, ascending is smallest up to the largest. So the smallest fraction here will be a quarter, because a quarter is 5 over 20. The second one will be 13 over 20, because that is the second largest number. And then the largest fraction here will be 4 over 5, because the numerator over the denominator was 16 over 20. So it's not hard. So let's do our next one. Just pick some random fractions, and then we focus on the denominator. Okay? So we have 7 over 10, 5 over 6, 5 over 12, and 3 quarters. The LCM for this being 60. Okay? I may have to do a video on easy ways on finding the LCM, but the LCM right now for this is 60. So we're going to convert 7 over 10 to where we have the denominator being 60. So this will be 7 over 10 equivalent to, and being that the LCM is 60, 10 into 60 goes 6 times. So it will be 7 over 10 times 6 over 6. Remember, the fraction is not changed. It's just a bigger number. I don't even know if I should say even a bigger number, right? But it's just an equivalent fraction. Once you multiply numerator and denominator by the same number, the fraction remains the same. It's just equivalent. So 6 over 6 times 7 over 10 equals to 42 over 60. So we have 5 over 6 now. What is the equivalent fraction where the denominator is now 60? 60 into 60 goes 10 times. So we'll multiply top and bottom by 10 over 10, which is 50 over 60. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 6 is 60. All right. So we'll be converting 5 over 12, where the denominator now goes up to 60. So 12 into 60 goes 5 times. So we'll be multiplying top and bottom by 5 over 5. Nothing hard. The more you do it, the more you will catch on to it. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 12 is 60. So 5 over 12, equivalent fraction, where the denominator is now 60, is 25 over 60. Let's do 3 quarters. All right. So we have the denominator being 4. So we'll say 4 into the LCM, which is 4 into 60 goes 15 times. So it will be 3 over 4 times 15 over 15. The fraction hasn't changed. It is equivalent because we multiply numerator and denominator by the same number. Not difficult at all. The more you do it, the more it become a part of you. So we'll just rewrite these fractions into fractions where the denominator is now 60. So 7 over 10 was 42 over 60. 5 over 6 was 50 over 60. 5 over 12 is 25 over 60, while 3 over 4 is 45 over 60. See, if you realize all denominators are now the same. So we just focus on the numerator. The smallest numerator is 25 over 60. So the smallest one will be 5 over 12. 5/12 is the same thing as 25 over 60. The second smallest is what? 42 over 60. So the second smallest will be 7 over 10. I hope you're following me. The third smallest will be 45 over 60, which is the same thing as 3/4. And the largest one is now 50 over 60, which is the same thing as 5 over 6. So we were doing ascending, organizing fractions in ascending order from the smallest going up to the highest. So as you see, it's not difficult, it's easy to work with. All we do is focus on the denominator. We find the LCM, then we just convert all fractions to the same denominator.